My name is Jack, and I'm a passionate angler and all-round fish fanatic. In this series of films, I'm trying to track down and catch 100 different species of fish in the British Isles as I fly, see and course fish for a range of weird species. This week I'm in Dorset as I'm trying to track down what has to be the most wanted fish for species hunters in the UK, the black-faced blenny. I also have a fish in Weymouth itself, and I visit the aquarium. I did have a go fishing in Weymouth, as you never know what might turn up, and in the past I have seen black-faced blenny here before. A few years ago I was fishing with Andy Mitten, and we even got a shot of one grabbing his lure, but it didn't quite take the hook. Starting on the pier, I quickly got a ballan wrasse and a sand smelt, which is a species I needed for the challenge, so I'll count that. Although called a smelt, they aren't closely related to European smelt. You often find sand smelt in large shoals by piers. Moving into town, I grabbed some fish and chips and I had another go. A tom pot put in an appearance, which was always nice to see, and a gold cinny, another new species for my tally. After that, things went a bit downhill, as I constantly got snagged, and looking at the sea floor, I could see that it was just carpeted in discarded crab nets. Why for the life of me did idiots chuck them in the sea after using them? It makes no sense. A small lobster passed by, but the fishing was tough, and huge shoals of pouts turned up, and it was a real struggle to get through them, so I decided to call it a day. I thought I'd visit Weymouth Aquarium as I'm always interested to visit new sites, but I'll be honest, I thought it was crap. Firstly, they got the wrong picture on one of the boards, which is a real pet hate of mine. This is a koi pew, not a water vole. It's funny, but nearly every aquarium I've been to in the UK has a couple of species labelled wrongly. Marine fish in particular are buggers to ID. The native species were a bit sparse, with a few sand smelt, sticklebacks and the usual things. Gilt head bream and undulate ray were about the highlights. They did have a good common octopus tank also, so I will give them that. The pond dipping section was very overgrown, so not much in there. This would have been a perfect freshwater fish exhibit. The seal enclosure was a bit better to see some of the common seals. Personally, it didn't do much for me as an aquarium. I'd save you money. I'd been told of a spot where black-faced blennies can be seen, and I met up with Craig Pinder, a local underwater photographer who you should check out on Instagram if you can. He offered to try and net one for me. As I want one to photograph, I'm not fussed how I get one as long as I can get some photos of it for my book. My other plan was to take a small ice fishing rod in the water and snorkel fish to try and spot one of these fish, as they're often in a weird limbo, being a little bit too deep for shore anglers, but not deep enough for charter boats. I had a bit of bait in a little pea tube, and then had to just go for it. I got a few funny looks as I entered the water, but I'm used to that by now. Now this might be taking things to the extreme, but the reason I'm so desperate for one of these is for the field guide on UK fish that I'm currently writing, and I'm yet to photograph one of these blennies. They're actually pretty easy to photograph if you scuba dive, but due to a back injury, I can't do that, so the next best thing is to catch one and photograph it in a tank. I caught a little corkwing, so in concept it works. The water was a bit murky, and a bit of swell didn't help me to spot any of the fish. The problem is, these fish really like to stay under overhangs, which means spotting them is tricky, and presenting a bait to them is even harder. After a couple of hours in the water, I hadn't even seen one, and I decided to call it off.
Well, that was a bit of a nightmare. I left my P-valve open, so completely drenched my crotch, as you do. The viz isn't great, and there's a bit of a swell, so it's very hard to stay in position and to spot the fish. So I know I'm full of excuses. I did catch that corkwing wrasse, so it is proof of concept that taking these little ice fishing rods in can work. I'm confident the method can work, I just think today is not the right condition. So I'm going to go back in I'm going to take my camera and I'm just going to film the wildlife instead. Hopefully find a black-faced blenny and just film it. I've still got the scoopy net, so I might be able to scoop one up with a bit of luck. Craig's still out there having a look, so fingers crossed if I can't get one, he can get one anyway. So let's try that again. Take 2.
Now you can see the photo I took of the blenny, both on my fish poster and in the book. I've got a selection of merch out, from A3 fish posters to playing cards and an ID book for sale via my website, with a link in the description. I did see some good shoals of pout in there as well, and some black gobies. I left the camera by a likely spot and a male black-faced blenny did come out. They are just absolutely stunning. In terms of getting my hands on one, Craig had a bit more luck than me, and he went in and within minutes came back with this stunningly beautiful male.
No way! Oh, well done you. Oh, there he is! Incredible! Beautiful fish. Oh, awesome, mate. High five to that. Well, I went when I squashed the blenny. Nice one. Fantastic. Okay, mate.
Being greedy, I asked if he could find a female for comparison, and sure enough, Craig the blenny basher quickly got me one also, which was fantastic to see them both together. The males are only brightly coloured in the breeding season and return to the same colours as the female after. They belong to the triple fin family of blennies, which is slightly different to comb-toothed blennies like shannies, tompots and butterflies. I should say that you can definitely catch them on rod and line, but it's more luck than anything, with timing and spots being crucial. I can now add sand smelt to the tally, gold cinny, and I don't think I can claim netting it because I didn't get it, but I can at least say I've seen a black-faced blenny. New episodes of The Species Hunt are out each Sunday at 5 PM, and next week I'm trying to catch both species of loach in the UK, the stone and spined loach. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this vid, why not check out this other video right here? If you can, please subscribe to the channel, only takes a couple of seconds and it really helps me out. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.